Hey everyone! Welcome to my channel B&B Glow. Steffy enters Luna's trap, Hope's wish for Liam's miracle. According to Thursday, July 3rd spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Hope Logan will still yearn for Liam Spencer to have a miracle, while Steffy Forrester will fall into Luna Nozawa's trap at the beach home. First, on Thursday's B&B episode, Grace Buckingham will provide Liam with some difficult news. Regretfully, Grace will not be able to share any positive news on Liam's health. Hope will still hope for a miraculous outcome, nonetheless. Hope will remind Liam that even though it seemed like there was no hope left, Eric Forrester survived. Despite his lack of optimism, Liam will reassure Hope that he wants to spend as much time as possible with his loved ones, particularly Hope, Steffy, Kelly Spencer, Sophia Perez, and Beth Spencer. Steffy will go to the beach home in the meantime and be shocked to discover that she has fallen into Luna's trap. Ms. Dillon, the hostage, had to call Steffy there and will be bound out of sight when he gets there. Luna will then have the opportunity to face Steffy by herself and make some serious threats. Luna will brandish the gun and make it obvious that she will pay, which will cause Steffy to get anxious. Now that Sheila Sharp is aware that Luna was receiving tips from Remy Price at the shooting range, she will lose it. Sheila is undoubtedly becoming worried since she also recalled Luna's cryptic remark about leaving Los Angeles with a boom. Sheila will actually be scared enough to go to the Cliff House, where she will explain her concerns and ask Taylor Hayes where Steffy is. Sheila will make it obvious that Steffy is in serious danger, even though Taylor isn't sure she can trust her. Don't miss any of the action because according to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Sheila will be out to save Steffy before the end of the week. Luna's twisted maneuver, Sheila and Steffy's fate revealed according to The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers for the week of July 7th to 11th. John Finnegan will be left in shock by Luna Nozawa's twisted maneuver as well as the destiny of Sheila Sharp and Steffy Forrester. Fans will witness the result of armed Luna's confrontation with Steffy at the beach house. Steffy's life should be spared because of Sheila, thus her loved ones will soon be relieved to hear this news. But for Steffy's sake, Sheila has a strong probability of getting shot. When things go out of control, Luna might shoot Grandma Sheila, whether on purpose or by accident. The only question now is whether Sheila will make it out alive. Sheila might be forced to give up everything to save Steffy's life, but she might also be taken to the emergency room with potentially fatal wounds. Finn might be shocked when his birth mother is carried in if Sheila lives long enough to reach the hospital. In any event, when Finn finally receives information about Luna's horrifying move against Steffy and how Sheila stepped in to save her, he will be taken by surprise. After giving Sheila Steffy's location, Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig, appears ready to dispatch the police to the beach house. Will Dan Martin's character, Deputy Chief Bradley Baker, and his backup arrive in time to apprehend Luna before she runs away? Since Lisa Yamada was still filming at B&B not long ago, we know Luna will endure what is ahead. Baker and his squad of police officers might arrive to put Luna back in the slammer because it sounds like she is headed for a jail cell. Along with Finn, other people will learn about Steffy surviving this perilous struggle, including Taylor, Liam Spencer, Scott Clifton, Hope Logan, Annika Noel, Rich Forrester, Torsten Kay, and others. There will be a lot for everyone to take in between Sheila's bravery and Luna's chaos. After Luna's hostage scenario, Ms. Dillon will most likely be released, allowing her to return home to her own loved ones and get over this horror. According to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, there will be a lot of action during the week of July 7th to 11th. Keep an eye out for all the major revelations and intense conflicts. Does Luna use a twist to set up Steffy for the kill? When Luna Nozawa replaces Hayes Finnegan's teacher on the CBS soap opera this week, Steffy Forrester is prepared to meet with the teacher. For both Steffy and her son's teacher, it appears that their parent-teacher meeting takes a fatal turn. Bold and the Beautiful, Luna Nozawa ambushes Steffy Forrester. When Luna Nozawa discovers Will Spencer wired and attempting to take her down, she becomes agitated. Luna attributes this, like everything else that occurs to her on Bold and the Beautiful, to Steffy Forrester. Luna raced away after seeing that Will had set her up, stopping first at the flat of Grandma Sheila Carter, Kimberlyn Brown. But there wasn't much pity for Luna. She has vowed to defeat Steffy Forrester and is now on a mission. Predictions for Bold and the Beautiful. Sheila kills Luna and saves Steffy soap-dote. B&B. Steffy discovers that Luna dominates the class. Steffy shows up at Hayes Forrester Finnegan's summer school in Bold and the Beautiful, thinking she has an appointment with her son's teacher. However, She discovers Luna there instead. Spoilers for Steffy Forrester Luna Nozawa in Bold and the Beautiful. The B&B previews show that Luna has the teacher tied up. The teacher is currently a little busy. Luna then informs Steffy. Steffy appears to quickly realize that she is at this nutjob's mercy. Bold and the Beautiful. Strange scenes continue to occur? It appears like the strange moments on Bold and the Beautiful are continuing this week. After Will Spencer approached Luna in his charming manner and tried to get her to incriminate herself, fans have already dissected the sting. Most people would assume that Will's shirt would come off as Luna tried to get him into bed, and it did. Given the availability of tiny microphones in modern technology, you wouldn't anticipate seeing what Will was wearing underneath his shirt. He had a very visible microphone sticking out of his body, and was wrapped up like a man whose ribs had been damaged in an accident. Hayes Forrester Finnegan's Luna Nozawa is Bold and Beautiful. That cable couldn't have been more obvious. The sting therefore screeched to a stop. Fans of Bold and the Beautiful were baffled by another scene from last week. You would expect that Steffy and Finn would tell Hayes' instructor and show her a photo of Luna just to be safe, because everyone was on high alert about her even before the sting. Luna, however, manages to meet Hayes and even offer him a gift. As a result, they made a few mistakes regarding Luna. B&B, Steffy and Luna. What comes next? Due to maternity leave, Jacqueline MacInnes will soon be absent from the screen. Although it is extremely improbable that Luna will murder her, Bold and the Beautiful might link her absence to something Luna does. Since Steffy is a major character on the soap opera, she is unlikely to die, but if Luna uses her new ruse at Hayes' school to elude the police, she might take a plane to Paris and stay with her brother. For extended stays, Steffy Forrester seems to prefer Paris. However, Lisa Yamada is departing Bold shortly and pursuing her career elsewhere. Therefore, eliminating her appears more realistic. And rather than Steffy Forrester dying, it is more likely to be the twist. Supporters speculate that Sheila kills her granddaughter in order to save Steffy. If they choose to keep Luna's character alive, she could simply run away and never be heard from again, at least not for a time. The next 2 weeks will be Bold and Beautiful. Luna comes to an end and heartbroken Brooke moves on. However, Finn, Luna's father, might murder her in an attempt to spare Steffy from an impending death at Luna's hands. However, Finn has already experienced enough cruelty from the soap opera. The murderer, who attempted to kill his wife, is his son, he discovered after all. In addition, his mother is a dangerous person who attempted to murder his wife. Would he actually murder the daughter he refuses to interact with in the soap opera? They may. Luna Nozawa has an open window to leave Bold and the Beautiful. Will she be murdered, run away, or vanish? Hayes has another major astonishment. According to Wednesday, July 2, 2025, spoilers for the Bold and the Beautiful, Luna is implementing a new strategy. Spoilers on the Bold and the Beautiful, incompetent Hayes. Things start to get bad when Luna Nozawa discovers that not even Grandma Sheila Carter will assist her. Or worse than they already are, anyway. She immediately heads to Hayes' small beachside art school and re-establishes her friendship with Ms. Dillon. Ms. Dillon is eager for Sunshine to start teaching the children how to make origami. Does she take the time to thoroughly screen Luna, as any responsible preschool teacher would in 2025? All Luna wants is a hand-in with Hayes, and she gets it. Somehow, Steffy Forrester Finnegan feels comfortable sending her children to school when Luna is carrying a gun. Luna comes up to Hayes once again and presents him with a gift. It might even cause issues this time. The shock of Steffy and Taylor. Hayes shows Steffy and Taylor Hayes what Luna got him when he gets home from school. More origami is used. See also, the Bold and the Beautiful spoilers. Nick acknowledges she paid him to return after Taylor's ploy backfires. When Steffy was watching the surveillance film of Luna and Will Spencer, will she recall seeing origami in Luna's flat? Even Steffy would get chills from it. She realizes she needs to act quickly, so she goes to Hayes' small school, the Spencer Beach home, and takes matters into her own hands. She cannot let Luna touch her child at all. Steffy understands that she must exercise caution because she is in a dangerous circumstance. For too long, Luna, a violent young woman, has held Steffy responsible for all of her issues. Steffy will have to handle things on her own if John Finnegan refuses to help. Unfortunately, Luna has already taken over the classroom in her iconic green leather suit, and she is unaware of it. Who is going to save Steffy? More importantly, Who is going to save Ms. Dillon, the foolish teacher who initially employed Luna? Drama, peril, and redemption clashed like lightning in the heavens above. But the storm raging over the Pacific wasn't the only thing that rocked the cliff home that day. Once a haven of comfort for the Forrester family, the beach had turned into a battlefield of betrayal, emotional warfare, and surprising alliances. Something strange glowed in Luna's eyes: anger, perplexity, perhaps even a sinister need for something unsaid. Her quiet demeanor had always given the impression that she was innocent, but now that she was standing beside the broken patio doors, her hair wild and her hands clenched, it was obvious that something had changed. Luna had broken something inside. She had been devoured by whatever secret she had been harboring. However, neither Steffy, the ferocious lioness of the Forrester clan, nor Hayes, the sleeping child inside, would put an end to this storm. No, Sheila Carter would be the one. That Sheila, indeed. This time, the lady who was previously dreaded on 2 continents for her crimes, machinations, and menacing smile will emerge as a defender rather than a monster. Sheila entered the doorway without a knock or announcement, only the sound of her boots striking the floor as Steffy froze in place, trying to protect Hayes with her body while deducing Luna's spiraling thoughts. While checking on Hayes, whom she had secretly come to love, she had heard the mayhem through a back window. All of the resentment, threats, and accusations vanished in that instant as one instinct: the need to keep Steffy and Hayes safe, took precedence. The words, "Run away, Steffy," cut like a knife through the tension. "I can manage, Luna." Steffy initially remained motionless, her body paralyzed by shock, her eyes fixed on Sheila incredulously. Was this a ruse? One more trick? Steffy saw it, however, as Sheila moved between her and Luna, her arms extended in an unexpectedly parental position. Not malevolent. Not coercion. Simply unadulterated resolve. "Consider Hayes. Proceed. Right now," Sheila yelled while keeping her gaze fixed on Luna, who was now clutching a shard of glass in her shaking hands. Steffy held on to Hayes and retreated in the direction of the door, the moment's weight weighing down on her like gravity. Sheila turned to confront Luna with all of her fire as soon as she was clear. She gently remarked, "You don't want to do this. Do you think they don't understand you? I have lived it, I assure you. The seclusion. The responsibility. The sense that you'll never be enough, regardless of what you do. However, this isn't the way." Luna's face contorted, tears streaming down her cheeks as she cried out something about lies, betrayal, and losing faith in people. She looked like a scared young girl for a moment, and her voice cracked. Sheila became softer. "Maybe someone close to you has used you," she muttered. "Perhaps even in the past by someone like me. However, you have the option to end it here." I did. Torn between submission and insanity, Luna raised the glass once more, and Sheila lunged to disarm her rather than injure her. Sheila didn't flinch as they wrestled, the glass cutting her arm and causing blood to flow. "It's over," she said, holding Luna close and gently but firmly restraining her. "You're not alone." After a while, Luna passed out in her arms, sobbing uncontrollably, and the police showed up after Steffy frantically called them outside the gates. When they rushed in, they saw Sheila cradling Luna as if she were a mother, a sister, or someone who had known Eunice but had now chosen to live in peace. Everyone thought Sheila would go away. To strike out. To use this as just another of her well-known tricks. However, she didn't. The room froze as she glanced up and said simply, "She needs help, not handcuffs." Sheila Carter was the salvation, not the threat, for the first time in the history of Bold and the Beautiful. Doctors at the hospital verified that Luna had experienced a complete psychological breakdown, which was brought on by a combination of adverse drug reactions and emotional manipulation, perhaps by someone attempting to take her out of the Forrester circle. There were rumors that it was Lee. Was it an irate ex-partner? Did someone at Forrester Creations perceive her growing power as a danger? Whatever the reality, Sheila had assumed the role of hero, something no one could have predicted, and Luna had fallen into a downward spiral. It makes sense that Ridge and Finn's reactions were complex when they got to the cliff home and learned what had happened. Finn, in particular, stared in startled silence as the love of his life was saved by his own mother, whom he had repeatedly disowned. Finn said, "I don't know how to feel." Sheila, calm despite her bandage, simply nodded. "But thank you doesn't even seem like enough. I didn't do anything to get praise." Because I could, I did it. Additionally, Brooke and Taylor would later quarrel over whether Sheila deserved forgiveness or if this was just another performance. And because for once, I wanted to be the reason someone was safe, not terrified. However, even they were unable to dispute that she was the reason Steffy and Hayes were still alive and unharmed. Later, Rich would hear Eric Forrester himself say, "Even the darkest heart can shine once in a while." The tabloids went crazy. Sheila the savior? Maybe this was her once. Luna's disintegration reveals the dark reality of Forrester glamour. From villain to vigilante, Sheila's startling journey of redemption. In salons, offices, and online forums, viewers and fans from all over the world argued whether this atonement was genuine or merely a prelude to Sheila's next storm. However, Steffy was aware of what she observed. She was aware of her feelings. And she couldn't get rid of the picture of Sheila Carter telling her to flee while standing between her and death, regardless of all her instincts about her. During her recuperation after being admitted for treatment, Luna would also talk about Sheila with amazement. Luna said to Lee, who was sitting icily and embarrassed by her daughter's bedside, "She didn't judge me. She recognized me. Even with its bruises, the Cliff home would still stand, perhaps better than anybody else." As Hayes drew images of Grandma Sheila with the shield, Kelly questioned why Luna was unable to return for art class. Children's innocence stood in stark contrast to adults' burdens of pain, betrayal, and unanticipated kindness. There was no denying that Sheila Carter was the hero on that day when craziness reigned and lives were on the line, even though Rich, Finn, and the other Forresters were unsure of how to accept, or reject, this new Sheila. Not because she desired affection. She didn't want to gain favor. But because the flicker of humanity still burned somewhere inside her, beneath all the darkness and wounds. Sheila didn't ask for forgiveness or a parade in the days that followed. She just went back to her small flat, bandaged her own injuries and gazed at a long-lost stolen copy of a picture of Finn as a newborn. And for the first time in decades, she smiled peacefully rather than menacingly. "Steffy, run away," she had murmured. "I am capable of managing Luna." And she was. With empathy as well as strength. The very thing that nobody believed she could do. They say that redemption is uncommon. Even the most broken people, however, occasionally have their moment of grace among the insanity of the bold and the beautiful.